Right, let's take you back to Pietermaritzburg now, and it does appear that tension is building up. Nobuhle Modise, live for us there. Nobuhle, good morning to you. What's going on where you are right now?
Good morning, Xoli. As I was explaining earlier that there's pandemonium here, police have just arrived. We saw them on horseback, and we saw cars from correctional services also arriving. I'm just going to move out of shot because we are in the way at an intersection, and workers have, like I said earlier, blockaded that end. As you can see there, those are members of correctional services trying to clear the road, and the workers are fighting that. Earlier, we also saw a patient that was complicating. That particular patient, Xoli, was here to seek some help at the mortuary where he was going to see a family member who had just passed on. But like I said, there isn't any skeleton staff at the hospital, so he wasn't able to do that. And we then saw him collapse, and he went into a fit. And the same workers that are protesting out here were then called to come and assist the patient. He has since been taken back inside, but we don't know what will happen with him because there isn't any staff either. Those who did manage to assist him also went back and came back to protest here. And we're seeing that the police are also threatening to throw some tear gas into the crowd. That's why we've moved further away from them because the workers are not backing down. You will remember that this is taking place because of that 3-year agreement that they had with government, which the union says the government reneged on the final year of that 3-year agreement, and this is why they are now retaliating, saying that government also implemented a unilateral 3% increase. That is why they are now retaliating, asking for that 10%, as well as that hike increase of the housing subsidy from 1,900 to 2,500. Yesterday as well, Xoli, we saw the HOD of the health department in the province, Dr. Sandile Shabalala, just pleading with the workers to ensure that the protests aren't violent, and that's I assume that's going on deaf ears because we have seen violent scenes here. There were also, pelting at some cars that managed to come through over that border that created, and they were then stoning cars that were trying to pass through that border. So there are many violent protests here. In fact, let's take a listen to what Dr. Sandile Shabalala had to say in terms of the protest action that's happening around the province.
All right, Nobuhle, we're going to set up that particular soundbite in a moment. While we try to locate it, talk to us about who is actually leading this strike there at Grey Hospital, because that person, surely there are difficult questions to ask of them, given that if there's a person who is experiencing a health emergency or a health situation like you've described, a person experiencing a seizure, surely as trained nursing staff or doctors, they must put that person first before the protest.
I can't hear you at the moment, but just to answer your question, I did manage to speak to Newzroom Afrika, who is the regional secretary of Nehawu here in the province, and he was just speaking to us about the fact that they're retaliating due to government reneging on that 3-year agreement that they had in 2020, as well as implementing that unilateral 3% wage increase last year, and he's saying this is a retaliation of that. And when I asked him about what happens then to those patients who unfortunately are being turned away and cannot be serviced here, he says this is what needs to happen in order for government to take them seriously. I'm just going to try and locate him. I'm going to ask my colleague Gift Nkosi to follow me as I try and speak to some of the leadership here. He did mention that provincial leadership will also be arriving, and he did also tell me that there is a by-election here in this region today, Xoli, and he says when they leave here, that is where they are going to go to disrupt those services. And like I said, I'm just trying to locate Newzroom Afrika, who is the regional secretary, just so I can have a chat with him and speak to him about what happens now from here on. He did mention that the bargaining council is meant to go back into talks with leadership by tomorrow, but he didn't really give us much on that. I'm just going to try and grab Newzroom Afrika and speak to him about the chaos that is taking place here. Mr. Ngubani, we see chaotic scenes here. Your members are being quite violent at times. What's your response to this, and then what about those people who unfortunately are coming here to get services of the health facility, and unfortunately that's not happening? We saw a man earlier who broke into a seizure, and you yourself had to call some of your members to come and assist.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate, as you said earlier, that our community is being affected by this. Unfortunately, it's beyond our control. It's just that now there are unfortunate incidents that are taking place. The police are inciting violence actually here. There's only one man who came here and started provoking the workers. Yes, we understand the case of correctional services who came here, because they told us that there is an inmate or a prisoner that is being admitted here, so they want to fetch him. Then that is understandable. Just that now South African Police Services is starting chaos, unfortunately. But yeah, we've been assisting the community members because there was one case where one family came here to fetch the remains of their loved ones. Yes, we tried to assist them, although I'm not sure how did it end, but we tried to assist that person, and also the one who suffered those seizures. Our members here, the nurses, assisted him. But yeah, we hope the police will behave now, because the members are behaving, but the police are getting out of the way.
So Ngubani, this is protest action that was interdicted. It's not supposed to take place. And I hear you saying that the police man here that we saw earlier was provoking the crowd. But in all honesty, we've been here with you all morning and we've seen some of your members, taking part in actions that, are untoward. We saw them pelting stones at some of the vehicles that were trying to pass through. What are you saying to some of your members to just, try to calm them down? We understand that this is something that is indefinite, but what are you saying to them to ensure that there isn't any more violence that's going to take place here? Because from where we're standing, it seems as if it's going to only get worse because they themselves get upset when they see the police coming through.
No, our members are peace-loving people, and we try by all means to calm them down. You know that during these times, people are incited. Some of them are incited by the events that are taking place. But we try by all means to keep them calm down. And we are talking to the police because I know that they have called public order police to deal with our members here. We are trying our best to protect our members. And this is a protected action. Yes, it was interdicted, and we filed an appeal. So it was set aside. So it remained legal. It's a protected strike until the judge decides otherwise.
And then are you at liberty to just speak to us about what's happening in terms of the bargaining council at this point?
Yes, so what is happening, we've been informed that the bargaining council, which is the PSCPC, have written to the department and also yes, to the government as an employer, and also to the union in Nehawu, informing them or instructing them to come to the table tomorrow morning at 10, and we hope there will be solutions to this, because the communities are severely affected by this action, unfortunately, just that they don't care. I am aware that even the MEC, some of the MECs in this province, they are around here. There's a by-election here in 125. They are here, actually, just behind the hospital where the voting is taking place, but they don't care. Even the MEC of Health, they have been informed that she's around here, but they don't care. People now are dying.
Thank you very much. That is Mazungu Banu, who is the Regional Secretary of Nehawu here in the province, just speaking also about what I mentioned to you earlier, that there is a by-election taking place here in this district, and they are planning to go and also disturb those processes. They're saying that there are MECs that are there, and they want to go and face them directly because they feel that they're not being taken seriously. Jolie, back to you.
Thank you very much for that update. It is a worrying situation taking place outside Grey Hospital, but even more alarming is what is being alleged now by the Secretary of Nehawu there, who suggests that the MEC of Health, along with other senior government officials, could potentially be in the vicinity of where this strike is taking place, but they are busy with by-elections because there is an election that's taking place there, and they could potentially be campaigning whilst there is a chaotic situation taking place. So if anyone is able to spot the MEC of Health in KZN, please ask them and tell them that we're looking for them here at Newzroom Afrika.